I guess most notably for me at least was because it's been kind of put off and put off, and I've kind of heard rumblings about what the trailer was at a couple of the conventions over the summer. But
Hmm.
we finally saw the first trailer for Evil Dead Rise, which we got some key art for earlier in the week. Which the poster was kind of okay. I didn't really like love the poster. It reminded me of the Smile poster a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people were saying that, but it was definitely a quick first impression. But yeah, this is the new. I guess Sam Raimi has a hand in this, the production in terms of producing, and Bruce Campbell also I saw introed. He has a producer credit on it. But Lee Cronin is the director for this film. Again, this has kind of been coming down the pike here for a bit, and I've heard good things about it. But the trailer finally came out this week, and immediately I was messaging you guys on our thread that I just think it looks awesome. We've talked about it a couple times in the podcast, but I think we're all really big fans of the remake of Evil Dead from what was that 2013?
Yep.
I think so.
Um,
I
but
just watched it.
yeah, like this come up multiple times as one of the better remakes. I love the movie, and I mean, just my quick feeling watching this trailer for this, it definitely feels more like in that lane of what that movie felt like in terms of tone and
Yeah.
the gore and just kind of how like I don't know mean or I don't know, just like it feels very like dark.
Mhm.
The trailer and some of the gags even in the trailer that for me that cheese grater really stood out along the the body limb. But
Yeah.
I don't know what did you guys think of the first look at Evil Dead Rise, the new entry in the franchise?
What'd you think, Ronald?
I think one of the things that separates, because people have seen everything, man. At this point,
Mhm.
Right.
everything's so self-referential and referential to older stuff. I think one of the things that really separates movies like this and the 2013 movie from other things is how unrelenting it is.
Mhm.
Right.
I think what we're kind of seeing this cool renaissance where it's like these like high art horror films that have kind of come out in the last 10 years or so that are incredible, and I love those too, the like slow burn movies. And then there's like movies like this and Terrifier where it's like nonstop nonstop crazy from start to finish that doesn't really give you a chance to say I'm not scared of this thing, because the things in front of you you've never seen before, and it's going to keep going. It goes a
Right.
little
Right.
further, shows you a little more than you used to. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited as shit, and I agree with you that it feels like it's kind of the big brother of the one that came out in 2013. It feels like a little bit more money got put into this one. Yeah, but I'm excited. I don't know where this fits in the franchise. Is it related to the TV show? Like, I don't know where this fits in to it. Uh,
I think that's, and I guess I'll use that as kind of the entree to my thoughts on this, is that I think
sure.
that this is one of those great franchises that, I mean, it's not quite like Mad Max, but like when
Mm.
George Miller comes back to do a Mad Max film, he doesn't sit down and like closely view
Right, right.
the mythology of the past movies and try to make something
Mm.
that satisfies all the questions we have about this world. Sam Raimi from the beginning has been very exacting, but also very unprecious about these movies. Like the second Evil Dead movie basically retells the first movie in a slightly different way in the first 10 or 15
Right.
minutes so that it can set up things that it wants to do. And then the third movie again goes back, and actually Evil Dead might even spend more, like half of its runtime, kind of recapping the first movie and then adding a little on to the end. Whereas then Army of Darkness kind of recaps Evil Dead 2 in the first 10 or 15 minutes in a slightly different way to set up the events of that movie. Then we next got the 2013 film. That was the next thing that happened, and that movie has a tease at the end that teases Bruce Campbell, even though the tones are different, but not really if we look at what we're talking about, which is the Evil Dead movies. You mentioned it, the kind of mean-spiritedness of the evil force. Like my son came in and was looking at the trailer for the new Evil Dead movie with me, and he likes horror, and he said, would I like the Evil Dead movies? And I said, I think you would. And I said, what sets it apart is it's like a possession thing. It's kind of like zombies meets possession, but the creatures are really mean and can, like, when you're about to strike them down, they go back pretending they're your loved one,
Yeah,
and they'll
yeah,
like
yeah,
cry
yeah.
and beg for you not
So
to kill
mean,
them.
man.
And then when you notice that they're, then if you call them on their bluff or whatever, they say something mean about you, whatever, or just something that's like personal and kind of embarrassing and like humiliating. It's like, it's very, nasty. And I think that, like, I've read that the director of this, who said that people are already talking about how this looks like it doesn't have the trademark humor of the franchise. Well, neither did the 2013 film in the same way, but he said he thinks there's a little humor in the extremeness and the meanness of the Evil
Yeah.
Dead characters. And I think that more so than funny, what I think marks those Sam Raimi movies is just how much they go for it. And I think that's what really is the thing that makes an Evil Dead movie, is that, like, I mean, outside of the specifics of, I think we are going to have another, they find the book, they say the words, there's some of that in this movie. But like, ultimately, it's the fact that it just goes so hard into those gore elements, those body horror elements, those turning friends against each other elements. The body count is usually pretty high compared to the whatever the relative number of characters. Moving it to an urban setting, moving it to a high rise where it's kind of claustrophobic. Also, there's some stuff on a lake, and it seems like it's highly personalized. It might be like a particular kind of almost villain that this movie has, if we have this one woman who seems to be a prominently possessed person in this. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of ways to add to the mythology of Evil Dead by just doing a little something new, a little something different. That's the kind of franchise that it is. That's what makes it so fun. And I love all the movies, and I'm totally on board. It's like, I don't want it to look like Sam Raimi made it. I just kind of need to know that Sam Raimi put his stamp of approval on it, which is definitely the case.
Yeah, no, this looks this looks great. I mean, I think also just like an idea. I mean, there's been a lot of negative press around, the whole, like, I don't know, debacle over it, like Warner Discovery and HBO Max and everything. But, it's important to keep in mind that this was one that was supposed to be an HBO Max, direct to HBO Max streaming film. So, I don't know if that says more about their priorities in terms of what they're putting out in theaters versus the streaming service. But, I think there's probably a bit of confidence also in the movie, to be able to say, well, this is going to go theatrical. It's like, I think one of only two or three of their titles that were set for streaming that they changed course on and, changed it to a theatrical release instead. So I think that probably bodes well for the movie and for the audience. I think that there's probably some confidence in it. And I've read that from a couple people that I have a lot of trust in, that, testing and some, things like that, that it sounds like it's going to be pretty good.
Plus, fans of the original Sam Raimi movies, I just wanted to say there's 3 seasons of Ash versus Evil Dead to enjoy, and that stuff is pretty darn strong and actually gives that character sort of a nice ending if we never see him again. But I feel like the door is always open for them to find some way to crash those worlds together. It just right now feels like this is, like you guys said, this is going at a different tone, and I kind of want that. I don't want them to be repeating. If the whole point is that it's original and fresh, you can't repeat the same thing every time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.